Hello guys, this is Doron's Movies, and today I'll be giving you top 10 most important characters in World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth, covering the most relevant characters in the expansion. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. Number 10. Varrock Saurfang. Varrock Saurfang, the brother of Broxigar, is one of the most prominent orcs as well as figures within the Horde. He was a part of almost every battle since the slaughter of the Draenei back on Draenor up to the current new war against the Alliance. When Thrall left the position of the Warchief prior to the Cataclysm, Saurfang was considered to be given the title, but due to his old age, this didn't come to fruition. When the Burning Legion invaded again, Varrock became the commander of the defense of Orgrimmar. Subsequently, when Vol'jin died and Sylvanas became the Warchief, Saurfang was given the authority over the orcs as their leader. Currently, in the new expansion, he is a general under Sylvanas and, as we have seen, plays a role in the battle for Undercity and no doubt many other important campaigns during the upcoming war. Varrock Saurfang is one of the most seasoned and experienced warriors of the Horde, and his expertise will definitely be fully utilized by the Horde. Number 9. Katherine Proudmoore. The mother of Jaina Proudmoore and the leader of kul'tiras, Katherine is a completely new character. There is currently very little information that we have on Katherine, but story is definitely closely tied to the history of kul'tiras. She rules from Borrelis, the capital city, and even though she was mentioned previously in a novel as the mother of Jaina, this is her first actual appearance. Since her son died in battle and her husband was killed by the Horde, there is no doubt that this is going to be one complicated story. Jaina, on the behalf of the Alliance, requests the kul'tiras fleets, but is denied by her mother. How this relationship will work we will have to witness, but seeing that Jaina actually helped in the murder of her father, leaving Katherine a widow, it doesn't seem all that great. However, now that Jaina was burned by the Horde and is totally against him, this might turn in her favor, but damage has already been done as kul'tiras was heavily hit with the loss of Thrall and Proudmoore and his expedition. Even though a new character, Katherine Proudmoore will play a crucial part in battle for Azeroth. Number 8. God King Rastakhan. The ruler of Zandalari Empire, Rastakhan has been lording the trolls for over 200 years. He is empowered by the Zandalari gods, the Loa, and acts as their voice, and because of this, he is greatly respected. Since his rule, Rastakhan has been trying to return the power of the Zandalari and to save his people. Before the Cataclysm, he was pestered by Prophet Zul that advised him and his council to unite the other trolls and to abandon their homeland. However, they didn't take notice, and as Rastakhan grew tired of listening to his visions, he granted him a fleet to seek new lands in case his visions did come to pass. Unfortunately, they were true, and Zandalar was shook to its foundation by the shattering. The spine of the land broke in two, and the island started slowly sinking. Since Zul predicted this, many of the Zandalari started following him, creating a significant political problem for the king. Rastakhan supported the new wars, but remained on Zandalar as it was mainly Zul that led all the efforts and ultimately led the trolls to their doom. As the Zandalari were greatly weakened by the defeats, a civil war breaks out between the God King and Prophet Zul. We don't really know exactly what will happen, but Rastakhan seems to be the link to the connection of the Horde and the Zandalari and the brighter faction of the warring trolls. Number 7. First Arcanist Thalyssra. Thalyssra has been one of the most relevant characters during the Legion invasion, but her storyline continues in the new expansion. She led the rebellion against Elisande due to her alliance with the demons and the betrayal of Suramar. It was a terrible bloody campaign that nearly led to failure and the death of Thalyssra, but with the help of the Horde and the Alliance, Elisande was defeated and Suramar taken back. Seeing the significant similarities between the Blood Elves and the Nightborn, as well as being extremely grateful for their help, Thalyssra pledged her allegiance to the Horde, seeking to find a new place for her people. The Nightborn become a part of the Horde, and in no better time than at the offset of the new worldwide conflict. As the leader of the Nightborn, Thalyssra will no doubt play a very important role in battle for Azeroth. Number 6. Alleria Windrunner. One of the most prominent figures of both the new and the old alliance. Together with Llane, they fought against the orcs both on Azeroth and Draenor. For years they were thought to have disappeared forever, but instead they joined the Army of the Light, where they traveled for hundreds of years in a parallel timeline. During one of the expeditions, Alleria learned about the true nature of the Void and became one of the only creatures in the universe to wield it without risking and losing her mind. Therefore, she managed to, in a way, tame this incredibly dark force and manipulate it. Recently, she was sent on a mission by Anduin to attempt to bring back the Blood Elves into the Alliance, however, this failed incredibly. She was declined, and when visiting the Sunwell, void energies arose, causing the Blood Elves to banish her immediately. However, she had learned about the other elves who were also exiled for this, and in turn she found them and created the Void Elves, a race of elves that manipulated the Void in a completely new way. It is uncertain what Alleria will do in this war, but there is no doubt that she is a significant part of the Alliance and that her new Void Elves will be of incredible use in the upcoming war effort. Number 5. Thrall. Thrall, or Goel, is debatedly the most important character of the Horde. He was raised by humans, freed himself and the orcs, and formed the new Horde. Thrall essentially created a faction and its presence in Kalimdor, as well as allied himself with Sylvanas. Since the start, he was a rational leader and the one to avoid conflict if possible, but if not, he was the first to go to battle. Before the Shattering, he left his position as the war chief, giving the responsibility to Garrosh. This ignited a civil war and a lot of chaos, which Thrall later regretted, and this essentially paved the way for this new conflict. Even though not a war chief, he still had a significant influence on the world, helping us defeat Deathwing as well as the Legion. He is said to have a very important role in the battle for Azeroth, most likely involving Vol'jin, but it is still unclear what exactly will happen. No doubt as one of the most important characters in the entire Warcraft universe, Thrall will be relevant in this new expansion. Number 4. Jaina Proudmoore. Jaina Proudmoore is one of the most influential characters of the Alliance, so it is of no surprise that she will play a significant role in the new faction conflict. Since the expedition to Kalimdor, she was a crucial figure that held the relative peace between the two parties and was known for her diplomatic personality. However, when Garrosh Hellscream bombed her city and killed Ronin, she turned completely. Previously, she had done many things for the sake of keeping the peace, even going as far as assisting in the death of her father, but at this point, she realized it was all a mistake. Since the Terramore disaster, Jaina has been a strong proponent of the Alliance and, in general, has been against the neutrality between the two factions. In Battle for Azeroth, she returns to her home kul'tiras, where she attempts to convince her mother to join the war. We know so far that she is declined and exiled, but still doesn't give up on it. Most likely her mother will see her entire perspective and give her a second chance. Jaina is one of the more interesting characters in this expansion, taking a 180 on her personality, and finally she is getting a chance for revenge. Number 3. Genn Greymane. Genn is one of the oldest surviving members of the Old Alliance and the leader of Gilneas. For decades he was isolated within his kingdom, but when the Civil War broke out, the Worgen Curse, and later the Undead attack, everything would fall apart. Greymane lost his son and his kingdom in this terrible series of events and had no other choice than to join the Alliance. Since then, however, he and his Worgen have been very useful and very loyal. During the recent Legion invasion, it has been obvious that Genn has quite a lot of unfinished business with Sylvanas, as she was the one that was the most responsible for the destruction of Gilneas and was the one that fired the arrow that killed his son. In Battle for Azeroth, we see that Greymane is a general in the invasion of Undercity and will undoubtedly play a part in most other campaigns during this conflict. Finally, he is getting a true opportunity for revenge, and Genn seems like a character that would not let it go to waste. Number 2. Sylvanas Windrunner. The Ranger General, the Banshee Queen, and now the War Chief of the Horde, Sylvanas is one of the key characters in the new expansion. Once, as a High Elf, she was a Ranger General that fought off the Scourge. However, she fell in battle and was raised by Arthas, subsequently breaking free and creating the Forsaken. Since that point, they have been living within the ruins of Lordaeron, and as survivors of a terrible curse, they made quite a home for themselves. Since joining the Horde, Sylvanas has always been the least reliable of its leaders, but regardless, when Vol'jin fell, she became the new War Chief. As is evident in the Battle for Undercity, Windrunner is the leader of this new massive conflict, and it seems like her entire world is about to change. Apart from being the leader, Sylvanas is also battling her sisters in this conflict, which is quite an interesting and unfortunate thing, but regardless will have a lot of potential for a new story. As the War Chief of the Horde and the supreme ruler of the Forsaken, Sylvanas Windrunner is one of the most significant characters in this new expansion. And lastly, number 1. Anduin, Llane, Wrynn. The High King of the Alliance and the commander of all its forces, Anduin is the most significant character together with Sylvanas. He is the young son of Varian Wrynn, whom recently met his death in battle against the Burning Legion. Anduin has been a character in the Warcraft universe for a very long time, with quite a developed storyline. For the longest time he was the opposite to his father, less aggressive, peace-oriented, and leaning more towards the light and healing as opposed to battle and war. However, as his father lost his life unexpectedly, Anduin was given a tremendous responsibility. He now realizes that peace is not as simple as he once thought, and that his father might have had the right idea. Much like Jaina, he had a change of character, albeit not as drastic. In my opinion, he is more of a watered down version of Varian and a mix between him and young Anduin. As a leader, Anduin Wrynn will be a part of every campaign in this war, and the fate of the Alliance rests in his hands. Alright, and that is all I have for this video. Do leave your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps out and keeps all the content going. Thanks a lot for taking time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.